Let's get one thing straight. I'm a Snyder head. Not much of a James Gunn head. But over those two, I'm a Superman fan. So here's the thing. Did James Gunn deliver a fresh start for DC? What up, YouTube? It's your boy Theta J. Back like I left something. I'm glad you're here. Yes, I'm glad you're here. And finally, Superman 2025 is here. We've been waiting so long on James Gunn brand new DCU, and it's time to bring you to court, James Gunn. Trying to see if you can deliver. And I must say off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I was surprised. But before we get into it, this is what I need you to do. Watch this video from the beginning all the way to the end. That helps me so much in the algorithm. Now, let's get into it. Superman 2025. What is this story all about? So this movie, Superman 2025, is directed by James Gunn. It follows Clark Kent balancing his life as Superman. The themes are hope and heroism against Lex Luthor's schemes. This movie stars David Corenswet as Superman and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. It blends action and heart, and it reboots the DC Universe. That's pretty much the story. The story was a self-contained story. So if you walking into this movie and you think this has a Marvel vibe, a Guardians and Galaxy vibe, or a Marvel vibe where all these movies connect to another one, no, it stands on its own. Another thing that was dope about this story right here is that this is a Superman movie that felt like its own. Like, I was coming into this movie thinking it was gonna be Superman 78. I thought it was gonna be a copy of that. I thought even I was gonna see splashes of that. But surprisingly enough, when you go into this movie, no, that's not it. You might see just a little bit dash of it. And I'm talking about a small dash. But I was surprised how much this movie stood on its own. Like, if I put Superman 2025 next to anything else that was Superman, it's nothing that can compare to it. It's nothing like it. If you compare this movie to, let's say, Man of Steel, you got Man of Steel right here, you got Superman 2025. They are polar opposites. Nothing looks the same. Nothing is related to each other. And James Gunn, I give you kudos for that, for giving us a brand new story, fresh story. Now, if you thinking, like James Gunn said, that he took inspiration from this, from All-Star Superman, it's not even All-Star Superman. I've read the All-Star Superman comic. I've seen the animation. This is not All-Star Superman. I cannot express this enough, that this story stands on its own. Nothing compares to it. It's not a Snyder copy. It's not a Donner copy. But I will say this. The aesthetics of this, it does kind of remind you of Superman animation. Now, the Superman animated series. Now, when it comes to the Superman animated series, you already know that's peak Superman, ladies and gentlemen. And not this show right here, it gives those Superman animation vibes, you know? So kudos to James Gunn, because he put so many characters into this, and I thought it was going to be just a hot mess, but he chopped it up real good. He put everything together. And see, that's the thing about James Gunn. I think he loves putting as many characters together and making one film. That's hard to do, ladies and gentlemen. Bringing all those characters together like that, that's not a small feat. Either you're going to make a banger or you're going to make trash, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when I was reading other people's reviews, people were saying that this don't feel cinematic. It don't feel big budget. And I'm going to have to give it to him for that, because it really doesn't. It feels like an episode in a HBO show. And I'm not talking about HBO Max either. Well, I can say HBO Max, but this has a feel like HBO on cable. You know, like your The Wires or your Sopranos. It felt like it was built for that. And that's not bad. Not bad at all. It just have that episodic feel to it. When you watch the film, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about, because Superman is 3 years into his run as Superman. This is not an origin story. We get right into the action. I mean, when the movie opens up, right into the action. So I can see how people say this doesn't give cinematic vibes, but that's okay. It don't have to give cinematic vibes as long as it's a banger, ladies and gentlemen. The themes of this stays true to the comic book heroism. Superman looking within himself, seeing who he really is in this world. How did he fit in this world? And he ends up being a hero. You know, there was a lot of complaints out there in Man of Steel that Henry Cavill Superman didn't smile enough or save a lot of people. Well, this is the total opposite. David Corenswet Superman saves. He smiles. Is bright. Is colorful. Straight out the comic books. I can't express that enough, ladies and gentlemen. This is straight out the comic books. Really comic booky. So if you don't like comic books, if you don't like that, you know, campy, colorful, brightness, happy, you're not going to like this. Now, don't get me wrong, because I know some people will go there and say, oh, it got the James Gunn jokes. You freakers, if you don't understand Superman, Superman is bright, it's campy, it got jokes in it. And this is the amazing thing about it. When you have jokes in these DC and Marvel films, I'm not laughing. But the honest to God truth, these jokes was landing and I was laughing hard, man. They landed. They did a good job, you know? Now let's talk about the cast. Like I said, David Corenswet, hands down, from head to toe, is Superman. Henry Cavill was our Superman. Henry Cavill was our Superman. But the thing about it is, David Corenswet is Superman too. I talked to my wife. My wife said, you know, I like Henry Cavill, but she said, I'm gonna like this guy too. And when you watch it, you're gonna like this guy too. And if you didn't like the suit, I get it. But after watching this film, you start to love the suit, or you don't mind the suit. You focus on that character. Rachel Brosnahan, she's Lois. She killed it. Now, let's talk about Lex Luthor, because I see a lot of people online saying Nicholas Hoult, he's a mess, or I'm going to put it like this. Nicholas Hoult did his thing. Is he the best Lex Luthor out there? No, he's not. But he gave his all, you can tell. And he stuck close to the Lex Luthor character in the comic books. Some people might be annoyed by that. I get it. You might be annoyed by him. But I felt like towards the third act, he delivered. I'm gonna tell you guys who I was really surprised with in this film. I was not expecting for me to really like this character, but Mr. Terrific, man, his jokes landed. He was dope with his fight scenes. His technology skills was dope. I actually want to see more of him. James Gunn, he got a speciality when it comes to characters you're not really familiar with. And even though I'm a DC head, I'm not that familiar with Mr. Terrific. But after seeing the Justice Gang, because that's their name, and Hawk Girl in this, she kind of joked like, no, that's not our name. But you know, Justice Gang, not Justice League, they was in this, and they was pretty funny. You know, Hot Girl, she didn't have that many scenes, but she was dope. And then you had Guy Gardner. He was dope, man. Funny scenes from him, and I like to see his powers with his ring. Very different from what we seen with Green Lantern. James Gunn gave us different. That's the best way I can describe it, and it's not different bad. Is different good. So this was different. Don't come into this movie expecting what you're expecting. You're not going to get that when you watch this film. This is a totally different take on Superman, ladies and gentlemen. And James Gunn, I gotta give you kudos, man. You did that. I'm not that big of a fan of you, because you're hit or miss, but you did your thing. When it comes to the CGI in this, I've seen better, but it's not bad. James Gunn, the way he did angles in this, it looks very different from what you're going to see in a Superman movie. It was times when characters was fighting, it was an angle and the way the camera was moving I never seen before. The best way I can describe it, I kind of seen it before in Doctor Strange, at the end of Doctor Strange 2, when they was fighting, and it kind of had that Sam Raimi style to it, but it really did work in this. Now, I'm not saying it's all the way Sam Raimi, but it has that same Raimi kind of choppy style to it, and it really works for this. Now, the fight scenes, when you see the fight scene with Mr. Terrific fight scene really stands out. If you look on the trailer where it's Rachel Brosnahan, Lois Lane, and Mr. Terrific walking through that camp, that's the fight scene, and man, you're gonna be stunned. The last fights in this with Superman was on point. And there was even a scene before the third act that felt like the third act. There was a real big fight scene. I'm not gonna give nothing away because, like I said, this is spoilers free. But James Gunn did his thing in these fights. You felt the punches in this. You heard the hits, and it was hard impacts. This was like, if you can imagine Superman hitting flesh, James Gunn put that in there. The CGI, I seen better, but the CGI was on point. The CGI was good. It still felt comic booky. And I'm not dissing it because this is a comic book movie. So with the CGI and with the fight scenes on point, pretty good. Not the best, but it was pretty good. This is the point where y'all was waiting on. If I had to give my score, my Fatal J score to this movie, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to keep it real. I even slept on it before I gave you guys this review right here, this spoiler-free review of Superman 2025. And this is my rating. Usually I hold off on my rating for the spoilers-free, but this is my rating. If I was to give this Superman 2025 a grade, this is the grade I give it. I give this movie what we all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Since James Gunn announced it, Superman 2025 gets a big, fat, stinking A+. Yes, I did. James Gunn listened to the fans. You can tell he read the comic books. He took this thing seriously. And James Gunn, I even forgive you for the suit, because sometimes I love the suit. Sometimes I hate the suit. But James Gunn, you did your thing. I believe this movie is going to do $1 billion in the box office. Yes, I said it. My theater was packed. And at the end of this movie, guess what my theater was doing? It's rare when they do this. They was clapping. They gave it a standing ovation. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go see this movie. You're going to have a good time. If you love comic book movies, you're going to have a good time. If you feel like this is something to bring your family to, it's a great film. Get back at your boy Fatal J. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell. Because when you hit that notification bell, it makes your boy Fatal J feel oh so good and oh so swell. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Ninja, finish.
The time for talking is over. It's time to push buttons.
And we living it up.